Zany, a draw away from home. What's your feeling coming out of that one?
Oh, happy, but, you know, we got an away goal. It's important, you know, to score a goal away from home. And at the end, but a bit disappointed not to come away with the win. You know, in the end, we had a couple of chances there that could have done better with. But, yeah, all in all, good effort, and we'll back up. I think every time we've drawn the first match, we've gone through to the grand final. So
it was a really tight match. Did you feel like you had the better of the chances, though? Of course, Bailey Garland had that great opportunity in the second half to win the match for you.
Yeah, no, I thought probably the chances. We weren't really troubled, I didn't think, in the second half. And they had a bit more possession because they were obviously trying to get on it and slow the game down. And we were happy to sort of allow the possession stat to go their way a bit, but yeah, probably ruin a few missed chances. I think you had Bailey's, and I think Dylan had a strike when a pass might have been on. So yeah, if we can tidy that up a bit, we're confident we'll go through.
Defensively, just one goal conceded in your last 4 games. That must give you a lot of confidence heading back home.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we keep a clean sheet, we go through. And we've set up before defensively, I think, in my first season, and got a 0-0 draw. So, you know, we'll back our defence. And to be honest, they weren't troubled, and it was a pretty disappointing goal to concede. You know, I'm sure when I look at it again, it'll get worse. But, yeah, overall, it was a great effort.
Just tell me, that's 10 matches now in a row where you haven't lost away from home. Why is that?
I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good stat, but so yeah, hopefully we keep that run going a bit and continue our home run. And you know, I think we've conceded 6 goals at home all year, so you know, we're pretty confident at home.
Now you proved this afternoon, obviously, that Lambton Jaffers don't have the best players. You're pretty even.
Mate, it was an arm wrestle, and yeah, bit of tongue-in-cheek there, mate. But yeah, we're a good team. You know, some people might not like our players, but I love them, so that's all that matters.
Well, Zany, good luck next week, and thanks for the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're here with the head coach, James Pascoe. Jimmy, head coach of Lambton Jaffers. Look, 1-1, fair result for you?
Oh, look, I think on the balance of play, I thought we were pretty sharp for the first 25, 30 minutes, and no problem in saying I thought they were better for the last hour of the game. I thought they played the conditions a little bit smarter than we did. So to come away after that and still be in with a chance to progress, I think is a sign of resilience from the boys. But we absolutely need to improve next week to progress. So yeah, we've got a job on our hands.
Yeah, that first goal that went in, you would have been pretty excited when you saw that one go in, and I was particularly impressed by the shape that you put out in the park, the way you presented your team and the way that they understood the way they had to play. It wouldn't have surprised me to see you go on with it, but they got a goal back.
Yeah, no, that's right. We lost Marcus Duncan through the week with concussion. Got a knock to the head last week against Lake Macquarie, and just needed to rejig a little bit. And with Ridge doing his ACL as well, it just left us light down that right-hand side. Joel Griffith stuck his hand up to play there, but it's a tough ask to do it at Joel's age. And I thought after that sort of 25-minute period where I thought we were really good, I thought it was pretty obvious the way they targeted us down that side. A lot of diagonal balls, trying to get 2v1 on Liam O'Dell. So we made that change, bringing Bren on. But yeah, that just sort of threw us a little bit with that goal they conceded from that dominance down that side of the pitch for a 5-minute period there in the first half. And yeah, as I say, I think they played the conditions a little bit better than us. We weren't quite as disciplined as we should have been with regards to I think we tried to play too much football in our half, coming out of our half. For me, it was a real day to be a little bit more direct, try and win your battles at the top of the pitch, play off the second ball, and we didn't do that well enough in the second half. So yeah, end of the day, we take the result, we move on.
Yeah, and finally, before we go, look, Edgeworth are a young, fit side. It was a physical game today. Has there been any major concerns in your group?
No, look, Pat Brown got a fair knock there in the ribs and has just coughed up a little bit of blood, so he needs to go and be checked out at hospital for sure, just in case there's a rib fracture there or maybe even a little puncture in his lung, so need to be very careful with him. Other than that, we're fine.
All right, we really do appreciate your time, Jimmy, and all the best next week.
Thanks, Chris. Chum.
And we will look forward to this match this afternoon. Broadmeadow Magic coming up against the Maitland Magpies.
Bar TV Sports, making your game the main game.
Good afternoon and welcome to this Northern New South Wales NPL semi-final leg number 1 between Maitland and Broadmeadow Magic. We're seeing here this afternoon, I'm joined by Damien Smith, it's Chris Turner, and we're here this afternoon, Smudge, on what should be a very interesting afternoon and an encounter which we would expect probably a bigger showing from Broadmeadow than the one we got last week.
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful day here at Maitland this afternoon. They were expecting rain, but the rain sort of held off. They said they had a little bit of rain this morning just to make the ground a bit softer because obviously the grass is in need of some watering, doesn't it? Look, CT. But yeah, beautiful afternoon. It's going to be a very interesting contest, isn't it, CT? And definitely different compared to last week with changes made to the Magic side, which we'll go through in a second. However, Maitland, they're staying with the same lineup as last week with a 2-0 result over Maitland in the round 22.
Well, just on the ground that you mentioned there, Smudge, I did actually go out for a walk because someone said it's because of the rain we've had on it. It was pretty good to run on. One of the referees from the earlier match and went out there for a quick walk, and it's flat. It's not as bouncy as from all reports, and so it should play a lot better and a bit cleaner than what it has because it won't be so bouncy.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it looks very flat from this angle, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game, CT. Like last week was a bit of a stale sort of game. Magic rested players. Maitland needed the result to make the top 4. They got the result. They ended up jumping into 3rd spot, and now they play each other 3 weeks in a row. So I've got a feeling it's going to be a cagey affair. Neither side will want to concede, especially Maitland at home, because obviously there's away goals in this contest. But and both teams will want to take it to the second leg at Magic Park because, like we said earlier in the week, CT, you can actually lose a semi-final series in the first game, but you can't win a semi-final series.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. We've just seen the teams walk onto the park now. Glenn Peterkin is the referee. Smudge, you've got the lineup there for Broadmeadow Magic?
Yeah, Broadmeadow Magic, the way side. So starting in goal. So they've made 3 changes to the starting lineup. They played Maitland last week, and they've brought James Virgili on the bench, but I'll go through the starting lineup. In number 1 in goals, Paul Bitts. Number 12, Shane Paul. Number 5, Luke Virgili. Number 3 in captain, Josh Pennington. Number 14, John Griffith. Number 8, Matt Hurl. Number 19, Cody Carroll. Number 4, Justin Broadley. Number 9, Carl Bradbury. Number 10, John Majorowski. And number 11, Dino Fadge. On the bench for Broadmeadow Magic, number 66, Brad McKenzie. Number 23, Takami Sanada. Number 2, David Eifeld. Number 18, Charlie Cox. And number 7, James Virgili.
And for Maitland, we've got in goals number 1, Matt Trott. Number 5, Grant Brown. Number 4, Zach Thomas. 17 is Alex Reid. Liam Thornton has got the number 3 shirt on. Number 6 is Matt Swan. Number 13, Carl Thornton. 11 is Andrew Swan. Matthew Thompson is number 8. Sean Pratt is number 12. Ryan Clark is number 22. On the bench for Maitland is Justin McAuliffe, Lewis Townsend and Luke Jennings, including James Tassel. As I mentioned, Smudge, this match being refereed by Glenn Peterkin.
And like we seen yesterday, Edgeworth versus Lambton at Arthur Eden Oval. A very cagey affair there, CT. It was a stalemate, 1-1.
Yeah, game of two halves, really. You know, Lambton dominated for me anyway in the first period of the match, went up. But as expected, Edgeworth were going to finish strong, and as they did. This game here, however, Smudge, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this game's going to be quite cagey as well. Like I said before, just a few minutes ago, that neither side will want to concede. I think the opening 10-15 minutes will be very cagey. They'll just feel each other out. Magic's made 3 changes to this lineup from last week, bringing in Shane Paul, Luke Virgili and Josh Pennington. 3 of their back line, which they obviously play 5 across the back. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a stalemate. It's going to be very tight. I don't think neither team will be pushing towards the end of the game if it is still locked at 0-0, 1-1. However, I think it's very important for Maitland to the defensive structures in place and do not concede.
Well, let's be honest. You know, Broadmeadow were under strength from where they were last week, and they'll be definitely looking, in my opinion, Smudge, to score some goals today, because if they can, and some away goals, it'll be hugely important, and they'll be feeling probably a little deflated. They've had a big loss midweek as Glenn Peterkin gets us underway, and they'll be looking to reconcile on that for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, CT.
As we know, semi-finals football is a different setup altogether, and this is what players play for. And we're going to see today, I think, some exciting matchups here individually, and both the 2 units are set up well by both coaches.
And the ball goes back to Matt Trott. Just an interesting point, CT. James Virgili comes into the bench. He's been out with a hamstring injury for the last 4 or so weeks. He's missed 4 games. You know what? I'm unsure what Magic are thinking, but you know, they might not risk him if they can get a result today and save him. And Mitch Oxborough's back next week as well for Broadmeadow Magic. So
that was Swan down in the box claiming or asking for a penalty. It was Peterkin's not interested in that and goes down. Yeah, I agree, Smudge. And I did actually have the opportunity to speak to Virgili before the game, and he said he's almost there. He said he's not running at 100%, but he's very close to it, and I think from what he was indicating, maybe only if required type appearance today. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out.
Bits with the long goal kick, Maitland with the throw in with Liam Thornton. A lot of communication already on the park, isn't there, CT? And from the crowd as well, just beneath us.
Yeah, and a decent crowd in today, there's no doubt about that. We've got some numbers here in the grandstand. It's full, and cars around the other side. People in front you may not be able to see on screen. See Matt Swan put that one over the sideline.
Hill with the throw in. Flicked on by Dino Fadge. And cleaned up by Ryan Clark. He's got some pace, Ryan Clark, hasn't he, when he gets going?
Yeah, when he gets in the one-on-one situation and attacking third, that's where you see him. He's tightest. Here's a man on the ball.
It's a great
Thompson,
turn.
Who, if he has a big game, Smudge, Matthew Thompson, if he has a big game today, that goes a long way for Maitland in their prospects.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's such a smart player. Even there, he sort of turned around the defender. Great ball into Ryan Clark. Ball just eluded Ryan Clark and fell to bits. Virgili, Luke Virgili on the ball. Looking at Matt Thompson, he's got a heavily strapped knee there. I don't think he's 100% at the moment, but he's such a valuable player for Maitland. And a bit of a big touch by Justin Broadley over for a throw-in for Maitland.
Yeah, you wonder if it was at the beginning of the year where he might have another week or 2 off.
That's a late challenge by John Majorowski on Liam Thornton. Peterkin just giving Majorowski a... Oh, he's pulled the yellow card out nice and early. With Majorowski coming in a little bit late on Liam Thornton.
Well, he's saying to Majorowski that he was late in his tackle. See Alex Reid on the ball. He smudged that he said that he wouldn't mind getting into commentary on Bar TV. I said, well, you don't have much competition. He's been another player for Maitland, probably, you know, one of the best this year for them, playing at the back.
And I think he scored 3 goals as well. He always tends to come up into the line, into the midfield later in the games, and he's popped up with some crucial goals in that last 5 minutes throughout the season. So,
well, where he's good at the back is his distribution is so strong, but for me, his value at the other end of the park is strong. As we see Thompson muscling now, Clark.
And away with Cody Carroll. Still a little bit niggly, isn't it? There's been a yellow card to John Mazurowski nice and early, but yeah, a little bit niggly. A few afterthoughts, hasn't there been?
Well, typical of a semi-final, this one, where that's it. Everything's on the line here. We've got 2 weeks to sort this out. Who's going to go into the grand final? And we know every player in this competition loves playing in it. Bitts sends this one down the park, and Thornton gets up. And then Carroll takes a big bump from Thompson, which was probably worthy of a free kick.
I thought the referee did well there. Allowed play to go on, see if Magic can make something out of it, but he's brought it back for the free kick on Carroll.
Yeah, that's right. It did look like it was a bit of a heavy challenge. I thought he might have pulled it up straight away, given the amount of traffic that was in front.
So Matt Hurl, he's whipped some beautiful free kicks in this year, hasn't he, CT?
Yeah, and he needs to clear the first line of attack, or the first line of defence if he's wanting to get in, and probably just somewhere around the penalty spot or just beyond it would be the ideal spot, and that's where Majerowski's lurking about. That's exactly where it goes.
Great header by Carl Thornton, just out Rose. Ball in by Bradbury, and a flick on. I think that's going for a corner. Still in play. That's out for a goal kick.
Terrific ball in from Bradbury there, Smudge. Such a dangerous ball. Someone on the back stick can just get ahead to that.
And just quickly, CT, Broadmeadow Magic and Hamilton Olympic had a stalemate in under-20s, 1-1 the result. And in 18s, Lake Macquarie 3, the other home side, beat Hamilton Olympic 0. Pull out for a throw-in. Liam Thornton on the ball. Into Pratt. Great ball off to Matt Thompson. Nice skills by Matt Thompson. Holds possession. Into Ryan Clark. Back to Liam Thornton. Good passage of play by Maitland. Clark shows his strength. Clark's on goal. And that's a foul by Sean Pratt.
Yeah, good passage of play there from Maitland. They look like they're trying to string some passes together and look typically set up for, 4-4-2 if you like.
Yeah, they sort of like 4-4-2. Bolch sort of tends to have a block of 3 just in front of the 4 in Swan, Thornton and other Swan, with Matt Thompson players at number 10 just in front. So that block of 3 screens any passes into the strikers for Magic, so it seems to be working very well for them.
What it does do is it forces Magic to change their shape a little bit, because if Matt Thompson's going to sit in behind the front 2 and in front of the screening 3, someone has to pick him up. He's too important. He's too creative. If you let him on the ball, he can destroy you. So they have to change, and they have to have someone on him, which Cody Lucas looks like he's got that job.
Fajovic. Back to Majerowski. He advances forward. Plays it out to Shane Paul. Shane Paul still in play. Oh, it's gone out for a goal kick. It was unlucky by Shane Paul there.
Yeah, and lucky for Maitland, because that one would have fallen straight to Broadley, and we know he can hit them.
Just what I'm liking nice and early for Broadmeadow Magic. Normally they play with a back 5 with Matt Hurl on the right and Shane Paul on the left, and they sort of play a little bit deeper. But they're tucking in a lot better, a lot closer today, because the thing is, otherwise Cody Carroll and Justin Broadley would get stretched in the middle of the park, playing the 2 deep sort of 2 number 6, like a number 6 and a number 8 in front of the back 5. Cleared away by John Griffiths. Dino Fajovic, and that's a great challenge by Alex Reid on Dino Fajovic. Crowds are playing for a free kick, but no, it was a fair challenge by Alex Reid.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing in that one. I think it just shows how much it means to the Magic faithful willing their players home.
The other thing Maitland need to be careful. I've noticed Magic in recent weeks, especially at the start of each half, they tend to play the ball long and try, probably more so out of danger, but also just trying to get their front three in on the attack straight away. And it's a short corner to Matt Hurl. Great ball over to Josh Pennington. Clearance by Liam Thornton. It's out the car, Bradbury. Still danger. It's a free. Mike Majorowski, and Majorowski puts it away. What a great finish by Majorowski. Great ball in by Carl Bradbury. And Majorowski, unmarked, just outside the 6-yard box, had time to control it and slotted it past Matthew Trott. 1-0 Broadmeadow.
We've said before, Smudge, he loves his big moments, doesn't he? And he's certainly done that here. What was very impressive about that, when it bounced, he summed his options and waited that just half second so it got to a height where he could put it where he wanted to, and gave Trott absolutely no chance and slotted that one beautifully into the bottom corner. And that's the perfect start for Broadmeadow Magic. Smudge gives them the first away goal, and they're ecstatic down here.
Oh, exactly. And the one thing Michael Bosch would be very upset with is you never leave John Majorowski free inside the 6-yard box. He had time to control the ball and slot it home. That's Majorowski's 7th goal of the year. He's been tremendous since coming into the starting lineup.
Well, he's a player that when the occasion's big, he's big, and the bigger it gets, the bigger he gets on the stage, and he just loves this type of football.
Just a little bit nervy moments for Maitland at the back here. Broadmeadow putting good pressure on Zach Thomas, who nearly caused the forced turnover. And that's a foul on Grant Brown by Carl Bradbury. Magic's back forward, or back five, playing very deep here. Pennington just outside the 18-yard box.
Well, it's a big park, and the ball's going to run on a little bit. So we see that one pop out. Majorowski back on the ball, and he's just looking to hold it up till the play catches up with him. He's looking to release. Hasn't got really any options at the moment.
And that's why I know Magic like to play a narrow front three, and for obvious reasons, but having Majorowski in the centre of that, he can hold the ball up. He's the best in the competition. He can bring midfielders in. And that's where I think the balance has been great with Majorowski playing in that number 9 role up front.
You see Dino Fajovic on the ball. I think Broadmeadow will be looking to get some possession. They've got a goal up. They just want to settle things down and keep more possession if they can, because it's still early, Smudge, and plays still very quick. So they probably want to slow the tempo a little bit at the moment. So Bitts clears that one down the park, looking for Majorowski, and Alex Reid sees that to safety, back to Trott. Reid, Thomas. Reid just allowed a little bit of space. It's through to Swan. He's got Thornton on his left. He slotted the ball for Clark. Clark's around. And what an opportunity for Maitland, and what an option there to take. Unfortunately, Clark just couldn't round Bitts.
So this is where Ruben Zakovic needs to be a little bit careful, because they're playing 2 deep holding midfielders and they're playing 5 at the back. There's a lot of space in the centre of the park, and Maitland's got 4 players. So in essence, it's 4v2 in the centre of the park, allowing Swan to have so much time and room on the ball. Great ball into Ryan Clark, who made a nice angled run, but unfortunately the ball for Maitland just eluded him.
And a free kick again in a very handy position for Magic. Looks like Hoole and Carroll over the ball at the moment. We'll just see which way they go. Who's going to hit this one? And probably Carroll, maybe the likely striker of the ball here. We just heard the call from his coach, Zadkovic, saying back yourself and hit it with pace. And Smudge, I'd say that'd be a fair indication of what's going to happen. We've said it before, he's far enough out in other games, far enough out to get over the wall and get it to drop, so he can have a hit with some force.
He's a fair distance. He's probably, 35 yards out.
It's taking a deflection, but no trouble there for Trott, who gets Swan away, and he gets him away very quickly. He looks inside. Good midfield battle, Broadley.
Bolton want Pratt to hold the ball. That's a good play. Good transition. Straight into Ryan Clark. And that's a good pressure by John Griffiths on Ryan Clark. He's very dangerous, Ryan Clark, especially when he makes those angle runs beyond the back four.
Have to mention that the last 2 games for Magic haven't been great. Last week they played under strength, as we mentioned, and then they had the FFA Cup game during the week. We haven't had the opportunity to thank Steve Fotef and the Magic people, Smudge, for their hospitality during the week, and they really looked after us, didn't they? And as they always do, and a great setup, and they work very, very hard, Broadmeadow, as do other clubs, but we really enjoyed the hospitality. So we thank you, Steve, and your staff for looking after Damien and I.
Yeah, it was a great night at Magic Park. Unfortunately, Magic didn't get the result, but yeah, it was a great night, great spectacle.
And as usual, they did everything at the highest quality. So we see
Matt Thompson just running the ball over the byline, or over the sideline, sorry.
Although his leg's strapped, Smudge, he seems to be running okay.
And that's a foul on Dino Fadge by Liam Thornton. Just going back to my point with 4 versus 2 in the centre of the park, it's very important that Zakovic gets either Hoole and Shane Paul to push on so they're not marking nobody and tuck in so they can compress the space in the middle of the park. Otherwise, there's 2 Swans, Liam Thornton and Matt Thompson will have a field day in the centre of the park.
Carroll's going to hit this one with his left foot, which means it'll have left to right swing on it. So Magic, if they can get something on goals here, it'll be headed that way.
To Pratt. Trying to transition quick here, Maitland. To Ryan Clark. Bitts is out of his line, but he did well, Bitts. He's had a great season, Paul Bitts. He's got most clean sheets. With 9 clean sheets this year, I think he'll get goalkeeper of the year. Most clean sheets. Matt Trott in Maitland goal had 8 clean sheets. And I think Josh Lowe and Nate Cavalier had 8 clean sheets between them at Edgeworth.
And that's how the Federation determine the keeper of the year, Smudge, by the number of the most clean sheets. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's how the World Cup do it as well, and many other football federations around the world. Thornton plays the ball long for Clark, but just eluded Clark. It's gone out for a goal kick. It's been a bit of start from Magic. Like I said, previous few weeks, I just noticed they've been playing the long balls nice and early, allowing other teams to get into a rhythm before Magic can actually get on top. But they've started the stronger of the two. And, yeah, to me, I feel like they're sort of into a rhythm at the moment. Bradbury, closed down by Brown and Swan. Good challenge by Carl Thornton. Back to Grant Brown, hoofs it long, and that's a foul by Broadley on Grant Brown. Interesting, Broadley's an old Maitland boy, played many a season up here at CT, and must be, obviously, he must be so glad Maitland made it through to the semi-finals in the first time in quite a few years, and yeah. It's a great ball up to Matt Thompson, but just a bit too long.
Yeah, he'd be buzzing for this occasion too. I mean, he played in the New FM League for a number of years when Maitland were on their journey back to the top. And he's such a strong and consistent, footballer, and he's very, very popular in the footballing community. That ball, Fadjovic almost got a toe on there, Smudge, which would have been dangerous.
So Hill with the throw in. Very compact here, isn't it, CT? He'll throw a blanket over 22 plays nearly. Reed hoofs it forward. Pennington first to the ball and knocks it out for the throw in. Liam Thornton.
Yeah, it is. You look where all the players are. Everyone's on this side of the pitch and very, very limited
space
on a large park. Who will send this one into the box. Does so. Drifting towards Majerovski. Cleared away. And Pratt on the ball.
He did well, Pratt. Good pressure by Virgili.
Shane Paul. A bit of feeling out here, Smudge. Oh, that ball's dropped. It's into Majerovski. He's got one to beat. It's deflected and somehow that stayed out. Damien Smith, what happened there?
I'm not quite sure. I think it was a mix-up between Trott and Brown, I think, and it fell to Majerovski. Had a great opportunity to make it 2-0. 2 away goals too, but it was well defended on the line by a Maitland defender. And again, Magic resorting to that long ball, putting pressure on the back four of Maitland, which is tend to be working at the moment.
Have to admit, I did expect that one to go into the back of the net. Ball of feet with 1-2 players to beat Majerovski. You would expect it to go in. Nevertheless, it's a corner, and Hoole on the ball. Swing this one in, looking for Virgili at the back stick.
Good challenge by Clark on Bradbury. Oh, he just had a heavy touch. I tell you what, that was 4v3. Maitland 4 on the attack. He's just a heavy touch, just alerted him. And there's Majerovski's at a foul. No, it's not. Nice body check by Zach Thomas. And Trott just trying to play the quick transition to Matt Thompson, but just alerted him, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, this game's shaping up. I mean, we've had some games in the past which have been fun, but this one's got a lot of ingredients, and I like the way the two lineups are set, particularly with a bit of imbalance in the middle of the park to where Thompson is sitting. So he's got to be marked, and it's opening the game right up.
And I like how Ruben has moved his wide wing-back, Shane Paul and Matt Hoole, on a bit. Normally they play a bit deep, and sometimes they're not marking anyone. Now he's moved them on, tucked them inside, really condensing the space for Maitland's 4 in the middle of the park. So making it very congested for them to actually play their triangles through the centre.
Yeah, I guess.
Which was unlike last week.
Which is getting them some results here. However, you've just got to be a bit careful, don't you, that you don't get caught on the counter-attack, and that's where I see Maitland's best opportunity at the moment. Got Hoole on the ball. Again, this one probably just around the penalty spot or beyond it would be his ideal spot. And that ball falls.
I'll tell you what, Maitland are looking a bit sus on set pieces at the moment. Majerovski scored off a set piece. He was unmarked in the 6-yard box. They're just looking a bit nervous and sensitive on set pieces. I think Bolch will want to correct that at half-time.
Yeah, well, let's not take anything away from the quality of the crossing that's been coming in either.
Clark. Great ball into Andrew Swan. Good pressure by Matt Hoole, and Andrew Swan causes the turnover. Alex Reid cleans it up. That's out for a Magic. Oh, it's Maitland throwing. Liam Thornton into Andrew Swan. Good pressure by Magic. Straight into Majerovski and cut out by Zach Thomas. Dino Fadge just on this right-hand side. Everyone was on the side of which way that was going, but it's a Maitland throw. He's taking it quick. Sean Pratt and Luke Virgili comes in cover tackle. It's a silly foul by Sean Pratt. They had Luke Virgili in the corner. He wasn't going anywhere. Should have just held his ground. Now Magic get out of trouble.
Yeah, it just allows them now to reset. Just take a breath. 1-0 up, Broadmeadow Magic over Maitland. Could have been 2 via a second goal to John Majerovski had he put away that chance where keeper was beaten. 1 to 2 defenders to deal with.
Magic playing smart, taking their time on set pieces. They're 1-0 up, winding the clock down a little bit. Yeah,
look, first half, long way to go, of course, but I think more importantly, Smudge, just getting a game into a tempo that suits them and their away pitch. As Reed's challenged strongly by Fajkovic.
Cleared by Zach Thomas to Sean Pratt. Great ball.
Pratt finds himself in a little bit of space, plays 1-2 with Thompson. He's got options, finds Swan. Thornton charging down the left-hand side. He comes back inside to Thornton, Carl Thornton.
Great turn by Sean Pratt. Good pressure by Josh Pennington. And cleared out for a goal, for a throw-in.
Yeah, the ball's playing very quick. It's running very quickly, and it's making for a great game. And then there's Swan here, copying a lot of attention from the Broadmeadow defence. Goes back to Thornton, finds Reed.
I'll tell you what, Magic's defensive setup is a lot better than what it's been in recent weeks. They've caught 9 goals in their last 3 games, including the game against Bentley Green. And they're very well structured today. I think Ruben's obviously worked on things at training, and he's playing a very compact, really tight defence, which is making it difficult for Maitland to play through.
Well, this park here, often referred to as Windy Hill, we don't have much of a breeze here at all. It's quite still, and it's a pleasant afternoon for football. And it's just the ball, as I said before, Smudge, is running very quickly, so the players have got to adjust to that. As we see that one overhit, and that's a typical scenario of playing on a quicker pitch.
Brown with the throw-in. Great turn by Matt Thompson. Looked like he got tugged on the shirt by Cody Carroll, but he never did. No free kick. Broadley picks it up in the centre of the park. Back to Hurl. Turnover. Another turnover from Maitland. Pennington out to Shane Paul. He eludes Matt Swan. Shane Paul advances on goal. He gets past the next one. Great run by... Oh, he's picked it up again, Shane Paul. Oh! Well, that was a tough one, wasn't it? He picked it up again, Shane Paul plays it past Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas was standing right in front of him. Could he move? Was it a body check? I don't know. The crowd's going off, wanting a penalty, but I think it would have been a tough call because he sort of ran straight into Zach Thomas. All the crowd, obviously Magic supporters right behind us, they think it's a penalty. Oh, see the bounce on Paul Pitt. That was a nasty bounce just in front of Paul Bitts.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that. That's for sure. And the referee's saying that just ran straight into him, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I don't think Zach Thomas could move. We've got no replays here, but I don't think Zach Thomas could actually get out of his road because he was only a yard away from him. And obviously Shane Paul probably didn't see Zach Thomas and ran straight into him. So, yeah. I think it was a good call by the referee, but we haven't seen the replays to have a closer look. Hool on the ball. Another turnover again. Well pinched by John Griffiths. Advances forward through the centre of the park. Out to Justin Broadley. Gets a great touch around Liam Thornton. Sean Pratt can cover event. And that's a late challenge by Sean Pratt on Justin Broadley.
Got to be honest, Smudge. Tackles like that, once you've already got your leg in motion and your weight down one side, for me, it's a bookable offence.
Perfect angle for Cody Carroll here to whip one in. Really test trot, especially with all the players surrounding the 6-yard box. The referee, Glenn Peting, his brother's the 4th official, Brad Peting. He's having a busy time on the sideline between the coaches, isn't he?
He is. Well, it just goes to show how much feeling's in this game, Smudge, and both teams desperate to win.
Carroll whips it in, back stick, Trot clears it. Just a little bit too high. It was perfect height for Trot to pick that out of the air. Yeah,
just need to be away from him a little bit as we see Bradbury pick up the ball and.
Just on that, Peterkin, he's waved play on a few times, allowed the advantage. He probably should have allowed advantage there because Magic had the ball in the centre of the park going forward, no defenders in sight. Just looking at Magic here, they've got no one home. I think Magic, I know they've got the free kick just inside Maitland's half, but if Maitland done a quick counter, Hool, ball into Fajovic, cleared out by Liam Thornton. If they do a quick counter attack here, high raised foot by Andrew Swan, played on by the referee, and that's a throw into Maitland. I was going to say, Maitland played the quick counter-attack. They barely had anyone home, Magic. And with the pace of Ryan Clark, could be very dangerous. Back to Thornton. Cut out by Shane Paul. Great little turn by Shane Paul. Holds possession out to Carl Bradbury. Grant Brown closes him down. Switches to the right to Dino Fadge. He's one-on-one with Liam Thornton. And out for a goal kick. Oh, sorry, for a corner.
Yeah, he was just trying to whip that in and around Thornton. And not a bad option because there wasn't a whole lot on deck for Broadmeadow at that point and end up with a corner so they can set up again. And
For me, I would have liked to see Dino Fadge take on Liam Thornton there because there was space in beyond. I suppose he never got the call, but there was space in beyond. If he got around, because there were numbers in the box, but short corner back to Hurl.
Yeah, and Hurl
Good
just
pressure
sends that
by
one
Andrew Swan.
straight over the post. And see Maitland wanting just to change the pace of this game to suit them a little bit. It's all Broadmeadow at the moment, dictating terms.
Yeah, I really like the way Broadmeadow's set up this week. Even though it's the same formation, but they're playing more compact in defence. Nice touch back to Dino Fadge. Out to Carl Bradbury. Good pressure by Maitland defenders. Carl Bradbury into the box and comes off Grant Brown out for a corner. Very good pressure by Maitland once the ball went out to Bradbury. As you know, Bradbury just outside the box is very dangerous. He scored 14 goals this year. Actually, between James Virgili, Carl Bradbury and John Majorowski, they've scored 34 goals between them. Magic's only had 8 different goal scorers this year compared to Maitland, who have had 11. Another semi-finalist, Edgeworth's had 11 as well, and same with Lambton. So Magic's been heavily relying on the 2 strikers, James Virgili, Carl Bradbury, and John Majorowski, the 3 strikers, to score goals this year. 34 out of 44.
I was just having a quick chuckle with Steve Pitcheloff. You're actually doing some research, Smudge. Very impressed.
Hurl whips it in, great ball in, out to Josh Pennington. The ball's trot under pressure, cleared by Andrew Swan, out to Carl Bradbury for Magic, cleans it up, back to Broadley.
Dangerous section here for Maitland again, Smudge, and
Majorowski free again in the 6-yard box.
And now we've got the counter attack you were talking about. Clarkson the ball, he can slide it to Swan if he wants. He's got Pratt.
Yeah, it was a good check by Shane Paul. I knew Ryan Clark was starting to look dangerous down the side, but I must commend Magic's defence there. They rushed back once they've seen the Maitland on their counter attack in all sorts of numbers. But that's where I think Maitland could really get Magic when they start pushing numbers forward. A quick transition, quick counter attack. They got pace up front, could hurt Magic.
Well, they had to get back quickly because Magic were advancing in numbers, and now it's Broadmeadow's turn to defend a free kick, and Matt Thompson will step up on the ball. He'll know where this one's going to go, and he'll know who he's wanting to pick out. And again, just like the other end, he'll go beyond the penalty spot and away from bits. It would be my expectation, Smudge. He hasn't done that. He's gone low into the front stick and no further than Shane Paul.
It's not out of danger yet.
The ball's bouncing, bobbling around the box. This one's going to clear out to Carroll. He's got nothing forward at the moment. He's looking for Majorowski. Finds himself in a one-on-one duel. And Broadley draws a foul. Grant Brown looking to get that one away.
Just on Majorowski, he needs to be careful. He's already on a yellow card. He just needs to be a little bit careful. He's got a bit of feeling in this match, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you can see it on the sidelines as well.
Like I said earlier, Brad Pettican, the 4th official, I've never seen him a 4th official have so much work to do. Just going back to John Majorowski, this is probably the leanest I've seen John Majorowski in about 10 years. He looks fit. He's been impressive this year since coming to the starting lineup, and like I said, he scored 7 goals, including the one today, and yeah, he's been an integral cog in their world.
Well, you know him well, as do I, and we know he loves this end of the year particularly, doesn't he?
So someone just picked up a yellow card for backjack. It looks like it was Andrew Swan, I think, for Maitland.
Ball's gone in, deflected Majerovski, and we've got...
What a great deflection by John Majerovski out to Carl Bradbury, sees himself free inside the 18-yard box and slots it past Matt Trott. 2-0 to Magic. And again, Maitland's defence just caught napping in the 18-yard box. The long ball worked again off Majerovski to Bradbury, and he slots it over his 15th goal of the season. Magic up 2-0.
That's a crucial goal for Broadmeadow at this point in the game, and he really did. He did Bradbury pick his spot, Smudge, and gave Trott absolutely no chance. What a wonderful finish, and you know what? 2 away goals in this home and away series, semi-final legs, is absolutely vital for Broadmeadow right now.
And again, I think there was a bit of ball watching from the Maitland defenders in the box, and Carl Bradbury free just inside the 18-yard box, and he put it away beautifully.
Peterkin gets us back underway again. And Maitland now finding their task tougher. You've said this before. You can't necessarily always win a semi-final, but you can lose it in a home and away leg, Smudge. And really, Magic, they would love to get another goal because it makes their assignment so much easier for next week. However, Maitland won't have that same intention. They'll get one back here for a 2-1. That one goes too long for Clark.
Do you know what's very important for Maitland not to concede again? I think if it went 3-0, it's going to be a very difficult leg, a second return leg at Magic Park, especially when you got the likes of James Virgili, Mitch Oxborough coming back into the Magic squad.
Well, that's right. We have got Oxborough coming back hopefully next week. I think Smudge is about the word. We might see if we can get a hold of Mitchell Oxborough in the second half. Smudge, if he's going to be grateful for his time, and he's just below us. He's given us a thumbs up, so that's good news. We'll be able to hear from him sometime in the second half and get his thoughts on the game so far as we see the ball come out to Bradbury, exactly. And he sends this one long, looking for Fajkovic, who isn't able to get a header onto that. And this one's going to be kept in by Thornton.
So I was a little bit critical of Magic at the start playing the long ball, but it's working to a treat today. They're putting a lot of pressure on the back four of Maitland, which is causing all sorts of problems for them. And they're getting chances. And you know what? They probably should have, like Majerovski had a great chance to make it 2-0 earlier on. Oh, solid challenge by Shane Paul on Andrew Swan. Both players got up. Great ball into Matt Thompson by Zach Thomas. Ball goes out to Matt Swan, but picked up by Josh Pennington. Played quickly to Carl Bradbury, played it forward. Shane Paul back to Pennington, up to Carl Bradbury, who fumbled. Picked up by Grant Brown, but he's played it out.
Yeah, Maitland will be desperate to get a goal back here, and they'd love one before half-time because they don't want to go 2 or 3 goals deficit into next week into Magic Park, Smudge.
Oh, definitely not. Thompson. Good pressure by Cody Carroll. He's been good this year for Magic, Cody Carroll. He's got some wonderful goals. Great in the FFA Cup down in Canberra as well. And Luke Virgili.
Yeah. Gee, we're stereo this much. He's been great for Magic this year as well. He's really been a rock for them, and for me, one of the better players in the competition.
And he's sort of been playing like a left, like with their 3 or 5 at the back, sort of a left stopper, where we're more accustomed seeing him as a wing back or a left fullback, sort of overlapping. But he's been rock solid, and there's a bit of feeling out here between Luke Virgili and Ryan Clark. Luke Virgili just touching his head, seeing he's got any hair left, but no, it's all falling out, mate. They're not happy, these two guys. Quick throw by Maitland. That's a foul on Andrew Swan by Matthew Hurl. Magic's looked a little bit flat the recent weeks, but they've really switched on. Whatever Ruben's done at training this week, especially to pick him up after the Bentley Green loss, he's done wonders.
Well, it's just a matter of changing their focus, isn't it?
So Pratt on the ball. Good angle for him, isn't it, CT?
Well, a similar spot where Matt Thompson, I said, would probably go to the back stick beyond the penalty spot. when he went short and left and straight into, I think it was Piddington or Shane Paul.
There's a bit of feeling out there between Ryan Clark and Luke Virgili just on the 18-yard box.
So you would expect where all of the players are, back stick, that's where it's going to go. This one, just a bit too close to the to Pratt and too far towards the back post to trouble Broadmeadow on that occasion. Smudge.
Yeah, just going back to Ruben and his tactics here, I think it's working a treat. It's spot on for my liking. They're playing a lot more compact. Like I said, the previous 3 games they conceded 9 goals, 5 in the NPL, 4 against Bentley Green on Tuesday night. But they are so compact. They're focused. There's good movement, good communication between defenders. Their front 3 are working hard in defence as well. And they're playing the ball, transition to nice quick, causing all sorts of trouble. Dino Fadge into Shane Paul, in the edge of the box. He's cut it back and well read by Alex Reid. He's had a fine season, Alex Reid.
Yeah, there's some good players in this group on both sides, and Thompson searches that one forward, just goes as far as Virgili, off to Broadley. He switches the play left out to Bradbury. He holds it. Carroll. Bradbury. Seem to have slowed the tempo here a little bit, Broadmeadow. Fajkovic tries to swing it in.
And just hearing Ruben Zakovic's comments on the sideline, he's telling Matty Hill to stay nice and central, nice and compact. So if it does break down, they've got numbers there to compact the four midfielders, or 4 tight midfielders for Maitland.
Yeah, and another man that's had a great season for Broadmeadow is Justin Broadley, and he's been, as we mentioned, a long-term Maitland player, but he's really enjoyed his season this year, and he's fit, he's well, he's just a workhorse, and another player that just he's the type of player you want in your squad, just for the amount of work that he does, and a lot of it unnoticed. Bitts sends this one long. Finds Bradbury, who again seems to want to slow the tempo.
Just again, Maitland 2 stoppers are jumping at the ball at the same time. You only need one jumping at the ball. That's what causes overlaps and spare men. They need to communicate a little bit better.
Agree. Hull plays 1-2 with Majorovski. Still retains the ball and is held up by Thornton. He's looking for some support. He finds that in Broadley. Swings a great ball into the box. Bradbury's on the back stick. It hit him on the head, but I don't think he saw it. Swan onto Thompson. He leaves it. Majorovski, here he goes, Smudge. It's where he's dangerous. Pulls the trigger but doesn't get there, and Bradbury picks that one up, and it's just a lot of tackling going on here at the moment.
Look how compact it is. It's so tight through the centre of the park. Suiting Magic at the moment. I'd like to see a bit more width from Maitland. Stretch Magic out a bit because they're so compact. It's hard for Maitland to play through.
Well, it's Swan versus about 15 of them. He's absolutely had not much support forward, and play's caught up to him now, and it comes all the way back out to Thornton into his brother Carl, and then back out to Alex Reid. So now they've got better field position, Maitland. But look at the numbers behind the ball for Broadmeadow. They're all on deck. They're all hands, feet, and bodies are behind the ball.
Yeah, I think Ruben set this up perfectly today. They're really compact. Johnny Majorovski in defence is working his butt off as well. Dropping back, really shuffling, doing doggies between the 2 stoppers in Alex Reid and Zach Thomas, putting pressure on the ball, causing a turnover. But they're very well structured today, Broadmeadow.
They are, and Zadkovic has done a good job in this setup. We've seen it. That he's had a look at this ground and he's set them up that way. What you mentioned Majorovski before. He's leaner, and then you're talking about his defensive efforts. That's credit to that. He is fitter than what he's been in what it looks like anyway, and he's doing a lot of work this afternoon.
And like I said, he suits their play when they play narrow because he can hold the ball up. He's one of the best in the competition at holding the ball up in tight spaces. Be good to get a camera on Ruben Zakovic at the moment. He's doing a few doggies on the sideline trying to explain to his players a few tacticals.
If we could get a kilometre cam, he'd probably fit into the middle of the park, no problem. Been doing the shuffles with referees, with his players.
It's well played by Ryan Clark. It's gone out to Matt Thompson. Again, good pressure by Magic. Carl Thornton, and another turnover.
Hill sends it long, finds Bradbury.
Great ball into Majorowski. There's some space out here, isn't there, CT? If Magic can...
Yeah, well, I tell you, the midfield of Maitland were a bit slow in getting back.
The other thing what Magic's done really well... A few players getting frustrated with each other. One thing what they're doing really well is they're rotating players, rotating their midfielders quite well, rotating their front three. Even John Griffiths, who's playing at the back, has swapped places with Justin Brawley just for the second. Everyone understands their role.
We're rapidly approaching half-time here. Say another minute or two.
And the other thing with Magic, they're just first to the ball. Just some simple things. Ball's out to Matt Hurl. He's got a bit of space to knock a nice cross in here, but it's cut out by Liam Thornton. Back to Matt Thompson. Turn over to Shane Paul. Shane Paul one-on-one with Liam Thornton. Headed towards the box. Shane Paul, still Shane Paul. Back to John Majorowski. Back to Carl Bradbury. Strikes it! And it's
what a wonder strike, Smudge!
What a goal! Ruben Zakovic nearly pushed James Virgili over the fence in celebration.
That has to be close to the goal of the year right there, Smudge. What that run from Shane Paul straight in, that's where he's dangerous. That ball pops back out, and what an absolute wonder strike.
And again, John Majorowski gets it in a tight spot, holds it up, plays it back to Carl Bradbury, and what a strike. Top right-hand corner. Trott had no chance. One thing about Broadmeadow, they're on their game today. They're first to the ball. Whenever the ball breaks down, they're first to the ball, and they get it played forward nice and quickly, putting a mountain the pressure under Maitland. And that's resulted in 3 goals. Very difficult for Maitland. And we said before the game, we said during the week, you can't win a semi-final series over two legs, but you can lose it. Maitland can't afford to concede any more goals today.
I'm just stunned with that strike, Smudge. That was just absolutely top shelf, the lead up, and then just the way it sat out and was drilled home.
And just one thing, we just spoke about the Magic rotating their players. They're doing it superbly today. And you see Shane Paul, who's playing left wing back on the right-hand side, picks up the ball, dribbles it in the box, plays it to Majorowski. Another turnover by Maitland, who lays it back to Bradbury, who drives in that top right-hand corner. What a superb goal.
Well, it would be interesting to go into the Maitland sheds and have that discussion that will come from Michael Balch and what the recovery plan looks like.
Tino Fajovic, challenged by Liam Thornton. I was going to say just earlier, it's very important Maitland don't concede before half-time. And they did, unfortunately, for Michael Balch. But he's got a big half-time coming up, Michael Balch. Try to get his players refocused. I think for me, the main thing is I think they just need to win that first challenge. And there's the referee, calls it for half-time. Broadmeadow Magic 3, Maitland 0. Goal scored in the 10th minute by John Majorowski, in the 34th minute by Carl Bradbury, and he doubled, and we got his second in Magic's third in about the 45th minute. CT, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I'm still, Bradbury, that strike was just something not only that Broadmeadow would have just been elated about, but just the actual quality of the finish and the build-up, just top shelf from Broadmeadow right there. But look, Broadmeadow have come out looking a completely different side today. Couldn't take too much out of last week's game. They were resting players for the FFA Cup against Bentley Green. They've come out here today. They've changed their focus. They've shaped well for this park, knowing what it would play like. And to be honest, Smudge, some of those long balls we've been speaking about have been absolutely superb and has worked, particularly hitting Majorowski, who's, as you mentioned, the best in the business holding the ball up.
Yeah, totally agree. The thing I know, we've been watching Magic quite a bit over the recent weeks, but their defensive display today is well structured, so compact. I like how he's got Hurl and Shane Paul really tucking in defence, where sometimes they used to sort of stay a little bit wide, and sorry about that. So Magic very superb in the first half, and I think Michael Balch, obviously Zakovic will be saying more of the same. If they can get another goal, the tie's nearly over going into the second leg. But Michael Balch has got a massive half-time. What's he going to say at half-time, CT?
Look, he's really got to. It's got to be all about recovery process and how they're going to get the next goal, because another one for Magic can't happen. One thing I can say, Smudge, if you're a Magic supporter, you're very, very happy right now, and it's half-time. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to this second half. We're at Cook Square, Maitland. Maitland, the home side in this first semi-final leg in a home and away series. Currently, Broadmeadow Magic 3, Maitland 0. And Smudge, if you're a Maitland fan, you haven't had the best first half.
Yeah, it was a tough first half for Maitland. I think it's very important that Bolch gets them in that half time. Just say, boys, we need to pick it up. We need to be first to the ball. Magic were first to the ball and really wanted it in that first half and resolved in 3 goals. For Magic, Ruben will want more of the same. And the main thing for Magic, he'll want a clean sheet. If they can go away 3-0 with a clean sheet, it'd be difficult for Maitland next week. But they're still not out of it.
Bolts will be looking for something to change and looking over our shoulder, Smudge. These clouds are black.
Oh, yeah,
And it may well rain. Hopefully it doesn't, but might be a change that Bolts would welcome. Not so much for you and I sitting up here in the open air. Rained on us yesterday significantly at Lambton.
Not me, mate. I was at an auction, but anyway, never got it. The Thompson, and picked off by Cody Carroll.
You got plenty of money, Smudge.
No, not me.
You'll pick something up.
Carl Bradbury with Grant Brown. Nice little touch around. It's a foul on Bradbury. He was smart, Bradbury. Sucked Brown in. And these clouds are quite dark over to the west. Magic just soaking up time, walking to the ball. Luke Vigili. Yeah, I was just saying to James Vigili just at half time as he walked out over to sit on the bench. This is the best I've seen Magic play probably this second half of the season. They've shown intent. They've shown desire. I know the last few weeks they've had one eye on the Bentley Green game, but they've been superb today. And that's a ball in by Luke Vigili into Trot and Majorowski foul on Trot, but play on.
Great take there by Trot. And it is easy to lose your focus when there is a lot of focus on a game like the FFA Cup. And with that comes a lot of attention on that competition and not the one that you're playing in regular. So you can see they've got their game faces back on. And Broadmeadow, Smudge, have got a lot of fans and friends around the country, as we've got Michael Perisic up in Queensland who loves to watch, and no doubt he'll be up there supporting from afar, as we've got other Magic fans around the country. It's great to see people be able to tune in from wherever they are via this service. So
and Maitland fans.
And Maitland, in fact, I was talking generally about the whole competition, and wherever you're watching from this afternoon, great to have you with us. It's Chris Turner and joined by Damien Smith. And Smudge, what have Maitland got to do from here?
I think they need to start well. Obviously, they can't afford to concede any more goals. They want to stay in the tie and take it to the second week. For me, they just need to be a bit more alert, a bit more aggressive. Magic seem to be winning the second ball. But the other thing is, I like to see him have a bit more width. It's so compact. If you look at the space over there, there is 22 players or 20 players in a vicinity of like 30 by 20. It is so tight. That suits Magic. It makes it harder for Maitland to play. I like to see him have a bit more width. See if they get their fullbacks in Brown and Liam Thorne overlapping a little bit, so it spreads Magic's defence. That's going to create holes for the midfielders and runners. But again, I think Magic will play very compact. They'll probably play a little bit deep. And I'll tell you, Pennington won the ball. He's been rock solid again, Pennington.
Smudge, we got the thumbs up from Mitchell Oxborough earlier to come and have a chat to us. We might see if we can arrange that shortly before, in case it does rain. We don't want to have him out in the wet. So we'll see if we can signal him down to get him up, if we can get it for a chat, because we'd love to hear his thoughts about the halftime talk.
And again, Magic playing just a little bit deep, very compact, forcing Maitland to play long, and the ball's going over the byline. Their structure's very well on the money today. And CT, you got Mitch Osborough with us?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we value your time here, Mitch. Mate, look, what a start for Broadmeadow. First half 3-0 at the start of the game. Would you have taken that at half-time?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We knew it was important if you get an early goal then, especially in semis, in such big occasions and stuff like that. It's important to get an early goal, and if you can obviously implement another goal, and then we had a bit of icing on the top with Cal scoring that screamer, which is good. But yeah, in the first half, I think we looked really good. Defensively, we looked really good, and we started off well in the second half too.
Yeah, and so Zadkovic obviously would have been elated by that first half, and obviously there's a plan there that's working, has worked in the first half. What did he have to say?
Just more of the same, really. A lot of semi-finals and big games games are won and lost on seconds. So a lot of our game talk was about game management, like first five and so on. So we just knew we had to come out and start well in the second half, because there's been a couple of times this year where we haven't, and it's affected us. So that was the main message, just more of the same, and just start off how we finished. And I think we're doing that now, which is good.
Yeah, and you would expect Bolch at the other end saying they've got to come out and they've got to get the first goal, and then that just makes it a little bit tougher. But next week, let's just say that the scoreline stays at the same. Are we going to see Mitchell Oxborough back?
I don't know. I'm obviously available, and I'm fit. I haven't picked up any injuries whilst being suspended, but at this rate, if we keep playing the way we are, I don't even think I'll be in the team. So it's up to Ruben at the end of the day. But yeah, that's what I'm here for. This is why I've come here, for big games and semi-finals and possibly a grand final if we end up winning and continuing next week. Then
we've been in great form. It'd be hard to leave you out, but we see Bradbury now. He's got
Tino Fajovic on goal. Good pressure by Grant Brown, and great transition by Magic. Nice and quick. A defensive header by John Majerowski in the box, and a great transition by Magic. Maitland very lucky there. Mitch, just quickly, so what have you been doing over the past 5 weeks, keeping fit?
Yeah, just working on mine really. So I've been training with the boys obviously, and just been doing stuff after training and doing extras with finishing and just run-throughs and stuff like that, which is the only thing I really can do, because there's not much else I can do.
And just finally, mate, any chance of getting back into the A-League? Other ambitions to get back in the A-League, or are you enjoying your time back here in Newcastle?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I want to play in the A-League again. When I came back this time, I'm happy here. I love the club, I love the boys, and for the near future, and as long as I can see, I'll be at Magic, and that's the way I look at it.
Well, that's good news for Broadmeadow Magic, and I'll tell you what, you are available next week, and depending on what happens here, it's a big call to leave Ox out of the side, Smudge.
A massive call, but Ruben's got James Virgili as well back next week, so he's got resources everywhere.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Mitch, and all the best over next week and the grand final if you get there. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Well, that was Mitchell Oxborough, and do appreciate his time, Smudge, as we see Thompson in a little bit of a battle there in the corner.
Obviously, you were at the Edgeworth versus Lambton game yesterday. Edgeworth missing one of their key players in Daniel McBreen over in Japan. Believe it or not, he's actually listening into us, CT, into our garbage this afternoon from Japan. So, hi, Macca. I hope all's good over there. And your 18 squad had a 2-2 draw yesterday from all reports.
Well, I did actually see a small part of that game as I was over there, and one of his players, Teo Greaves, was out back in the track and caught up with his parents, and it was a close encounter, ended up in 2-2, and I think a strike right at the end for Charlestown was the difference for that group, and I believe they're expecting some players back as we see Thompson and Paul come together, both very strong players, and Peter he's got something to say. Thompson blowing in some big ones. He'll just compose himself so he can get this one into the box, I should say.
Yeah, just quickly on Daniel McBreen, he's back grand final day, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens if Edgeworth make the grand final.
Well, if they do, I'm calling it off the bench goal. Thompson swings it in, great delivery into the box. It's bounded around and it just finds its way in, Smudge. And that's a goal, and that's a start that Michael Bolch would have been hoping for Maitland to come back into this game, and I'm not actually sure who got that goal, Smudge.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. There's no replays in front of us, but it's sort of it was a little bit scrappy around the 6-yard box. It wasn't cleared by Magic, but it popped past Paul Bitts. A better start to the second half by Maitland. They're showing more intent, more enthusiasm. In the first half, they didn't really have that. And even when Shane Paul fouled Matt Thompson just earlier, there's a bit of feeling there, that's what Bolch probably wants to see in his players. And that's a great start from Maitland in the second half. Magic still lead 3-1.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? The biggest fear you would have for Maitland would be going 3 or more down, going to Magic Park next week, facing their crowd, their fans. And this goal would mean a huge amount for Maitland right now, and we'll be looking for another one, no doubt. Smudge back to McBreen. Yeah, if I wouldn't be surprised that if he comes back grand final day, if they're in there, that he'd be on the bench and would play a part. Too big an occasion, too big a player to be sitting out.
Yeah, totally agree, and he'll definitely play a part in some. If Edgeworth get there, he'll definitely play a part. If I was Zane, I'd definitely have him just for the experience, just rally around the boys. And at 41 years of age, he's been superb again this year.
Didn't think we were going to mention his age anymore, Smudge.
I didn't.
Oh, because he's 44 and you said 41.
I didn't mention.
No, he is. I think he's late 30s. Anyway, good luck over there, Macca, in the job that you've got to do.
Ball advanced forward, cleared by Liam Thornton to Thompson. Maitland's definitely lifted their game at the moment. Cleaned up by Carl Thornton. Good pressure by Johnny Majorowski. Good 1-2 with his brother. Nice turn by Matt Thompson on the left-hand side. Pressure by Cody Carroll. Plays the ball into Ryan Clark. He's got some space here, Ryan Clark. There's some space out on this right-hand side, but he's turned back in. He's played it to Sean Pratt. Ooh.
And that one's waved offside. So Pratt just went a little bit early. He's not happy, but he was offside there, Smudge, and he probably didn't need to be. He just shows you how keen and enthusiastic this group are, Maitland, in wanting to go. So all of a sudden, Zadkovic, Smudge, he's starting to think that this game's going to be more of a battle than he probably thought coming out of the second half.
Oh, to be honest, I think he would have known Maitland were going to lift. They're the home side. They're down 3-0. They need to score first. If they didn't score first, they're in trouble in the second leg. But now it sort of opens the game up, or opens the series up. So Hurl with the throw in.
Yeah, and Bolts will be definitely keen to get the next goal because going to Magic Park, as I said before, is a tough ask if you're behind.
Swan advances it forward. Cleaned up by Shane Paul. Good pressure by Matt Thompson. It's a good little duel between Shane Paul and Matt Thompson when they've come together.
Just was thinking that just before they came together in the previous encounters they've had through the first half. Both tough. Both ready to put their bodies on the line and both can play.
Hurl comes inside. Advances forward. He's got Pennington on the left-hand side. Comes out to Pennington. Just drifts it with a sandwich through the Trot. Trot drops it, but it's a foul by Mike Majorowski. Oh no foul. Sorry, it's gone out for a corner, I think. We do apologise. We've got no replays here, so it's hard to see. It looks like the lights will need to come on soon. CT. These clouds are getting darker by the minute.
Might help if you take your sunnies off, Smudge.
Their prescription, mate. Otherwise, I can't see. That's why I've got
Fair
it.
enough.
I didn't bring my other glasses, mate. So
just on that, I wish I'd brought mine.
So Cody Carroll with the corner. Magic got numbers back on the halfway line. Stop the counter attack. Ball in by Carroll. Flicked on by John Griffiths. Good challenge by Zach Thomas. It's gone out to Matt Hurl. Back to Cody Carroll. Whips it in. Straight to Trot. Picks it up.
And this is where Maitland have been looking to counter-attack. This time Trot's held onto the ball and played it shorter. Played it into Thompson. And then he found Thornton in the middle of the park. He's getting some attention here. And this occasion, Bradbury
defending. I tell you what, you must give it to Ruben. He's made their strikers defend very, very deep today as well, which is making it very hard for Maitland to play through them. But they've worked very hard, tirelessly in defence, Magic.
As you mentioned, Smudge, there's no replays, and at half-time there was quite a lot of people from Magic asking the question, did we think it was a penalty? I didn't actually see it. I was getting down to get the bottle of water, so I've missed it, but if anyone's got an opinion, we'd love to hear it. There's plenty of opinions around here.
That was a foul on Shane Paul with Zach Thomas, you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
So Liam Thornton. Maitland throwing numbers here towards the box. Maitland just need to be careful for a quick counter attack by Magic. Like at the moment, 3-1, they're definitely in this tie over the two legs.
So we've got two attackers just outside. Now one attacker only outside the box. Every other Magic defender to come in back stick. Thornton just gets a touch on that. So go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think if Thornton had his time again, he'd probably start a little bit wider and then come in and attack the ball. He was already too far in, therefore he had to backtrack, and the ball just went over his head and he's kicked it or headed it out for a goal kick. But Bits. Long corner. And again, Magic, 2 plays going up the one time. That's what's caused a few of their goals and allowed Magic to have 3 plays around the box. They need to communicate a little bit better, especially their back 4. Cole Thornton, good pressure by Bradbury. It's happened a few times. We mentioned in the first half where they had 2 centre-backs or a midfielder and a centre-back both jump at the ball at the same time. And the ball's come down to a Magic player who's free because they've actually got 1 player away. They've tried to do a quick counter-attack here, Maitland, but the ball's gone too long, straight into Bits' arms. Nice touch by Majorowski to Shane Paul. Shane Paul on the edge of the box. He advances forward. It's closed down by 2. And the ball just tended to travel. We said that in the first half. The ground's quite hard and the ball runs. So Shane Paul, great opportunity there, but the ball just ran away from him as he got round Grant Brown.
It's different football you've got to play. Let's say in the middle of the season where it's quite heavy and boggy and it sits a lot slower. You've got to adjust the pace of your passing. Your passing range needs to be a little bit different, and actually just dribbling the ball, it's quite easy to get away from, as it did with Shane Paul just there. And Clark just getting nods. Tried to nod it forward, but it goes out.
And again, it's so compact, isn't it? There's about 20 metres with all the players around, except for Carl Bradbury, who's wide on the right, looking for a quick break.
Well, Smudge, your wish has been granted, asking for some lights. They're just coming on here at Cook Square, as it is getting darker here, and not because of the time of the day, other than the state of the clouds and the structure that's forming and looming in and around us.
Fajovic, closed down by Zach Thomas. Great ball in by Fajovic, clearing header by, it's gone straight to Carl Bradbury. So Cody Carroll. Good one too, Cody Carroll and Shane Paul. Crosses in to Majorowski, controls it. Well defended by Grant Brown. God, he's dangerous in that 6-yard box. Majorowski.
Well, a ball in from Shane Paul. Let's not make no mistake. That was a really good ball into the box. And Majorowski is spot on. You're right there. Some controversy down the other end, and Pittington plays it away quickly. It comes out to Bradbury.
I think Magic do well. They're rotating their players quite well. A lot of good movement off the ball.
Yeah. And that ball was intended for Broadley, but didn't make it. Ball comes in from Majorowski again. It's been deflected out. Fajovic was trying to get a hold of it. So we see Carroll go up. Now it falls back out.
Gilly.
To Vigili.
Yeah, Hool, that's a foul on Hool. He sort of dived in. Foot slightly raised on Carl Thornton. He did turn the ball over, but Peterkin blinded up for a free kick. Maitland back 4 very deep here. There's no space in beyond. The only space in beyond's going straight to Paul Bits if the ball gets played in. Thompson back to Alex Reid. Fancies himself into the midfield. Plays it into great touch by Sean Pratt. Looked like a foul by John Griffiths on Sean Pratt, but I think just put him off balance. That was well played. That's what I like to see. Probably in the second half is Alex Reid, Dino Fajovic, or just runs the ball out. Alex Reid advanced himself into the middle of the park, creates an overload in the middle of the park like he did then. Great ball to Sean Pratt. Sean Pratt could have put it away, but was just put off balance by John Griffiths. It was appealed for a penalty, but I think it was a fair call by Peterkin.
So you won't be able to see this on screen, but there's just a couple of drops starting to happen now. Some precipitation in the form of rain, Smudge. Smudge is just ducking off for an umbrella. Ball's played in by Vigili, dangerously into the box. It's been cleared out by Maitland. As far as Pratt, Broadley picks it up. He's really got nowhere to go, and Pratt's picked it up off him. He's pinched it. Still going. Big battle here, and the foul has been drawn by Broadley, and he's delayed himself, Smudge. He's delayed it to get his team get back into position. Smart by Broadley, but it's frustrating for Maitland, and we're hearing all about it right now. But what it does allow is for Matt Thompson to get the ball delivered into the box. Similar distance before, he played it in well, and he'll drill this one in again, which he does. Bitts is going up and holds it, and it's a great take from Bitts. Smudge.
He's been superb, Bitts, and the beauty about that take was he got it right at the high point, so no players could contest him, and he's a solid lad. No player's going to bump him off the ball. He's played it quickly to Dino Fajovic, headed away from Grant Brown. Shane Paul picks it up on the left-hand side, closed in by Matt Swan. Been a good duel between those two as well, Matt Swan and Shane Paul.
And Swan does defend well. As we see Carroll, I should say, out to Paul. Smudge, you brought in an umbrella. I wish you could see this at home. It looks... Come back to that. Swan, is that actually an umbrella? Thompson.
Mate, I actually didn't realise what umbrella I picked up. I think it's the missus' umbrella. But
I was thinking one of your kids at preschool, to be honest. It might fit half of one of us. Right, take what we can get here.
Yeah, I just grabbed an umbrella as I was leaving, mate. So, yeah, it's not probably the ideal umbrella, but anyway. So, Broadley on the ball. Out to Cody Carroll.
We can't stand under this thing seriously, Smudge.
Well, I'm not getting wet, mate. Shane Paul. Into Fajovic. Heavy touch by Fajovic, but he picks it up. Great ball out to Matt Hurl. Good switch of play. Hurl. Bradbury on the edge of the box. Matt Hurl, he should have kept going with his run. If he kept going with his run, he was in beyond the Liam Thornton for Maitland, and he would have had a strike on goal. Yeah, mate, I just grabbed an umbrella as soon as I thought it was going to rain, so I just grabbed the nearest umbrella, but I didn't realise it was this umbrella, mate. So.
Vigili strikes this one in, looking for Majerovski. Finds Broadley. Ball's been thumped along. Piddington tries to clear it, and Shane Paul can't keep that one in.
A lot better second half by Maitland.
Yeah, absolutely. They've come out looking better, so it'll be interesting to see what Bolch has said at half-time. This one goes back to Piddington under a bit of pressure and clears it as far as Carroll. Ball back out for a throw-in.
So back for a magic throw. Crowd going off. Shane Paul with the throw-in. Cut out by Matt Swan. And that's a foul by Dino Fadge, just behind on Matt Swan. The referee just having a chat to Dino Fadge. So a good game, the referee. There's been a few query penalty calls. He was right on the spot for both of them, so I think he's had a pretty good game, Peterkin.
Yeah, and he's been under a lot of pressure as well from the players and coaches. On a big call from Bitts, a strong call, and Vigili was there to clear it away, just dropped it and left it smudge, and that's just trusting your keeper and his call. So we see Thomas on the ball there. This one will be taken by Brown to Swan.
It's taken about 20 metres past where the mark was. But
yeah, well, Thomas is playing this one out for Reed. Expect him to advance into the middle of the park a bit more often, and Brown back to Thomas.
The other thing is, you know, if you're Maitland, you want to go and get another goal, but you have to be careful you don't concede, because if you concede 4 away goals, it's tough to pin back.
That's exactly right.
We're at the moment, the scoreline, the tie's still on.
The scoreline being Broadmeadow Magic 3, Maitland 1.
Magic quite deep here, their back four. And again, very compact, force of Maitland to turn the ball over. I like to see Maitland play with a bit more width because Magic's so compact. There's no space through the centre of the park. It's bumpy, so it's hard to actually play your 1-2s because the ball can bounce anywhere. I like to see him play with a bit more width or even get their fullbacks overlapping a little bit. So Bits with the goal kick. Dumps it forward. Nice flick on from Dino Fadge, but cleared away by Grant Brown. Cody Carroll, he's had a good game again. Cody Carroll from Magic.
He certainly has, and so has this man, Shane Paul. He's been busy this afternoon, Smudge.
Yep.
And when he's driving and running, that's where he's his best, and he hooks it out wide and finds Hoole, and tries to deliver. Bradbury, sorry, my eyes are sketchy this side from that far away, Smudge.
Hoole's on the ball now. Plays it in the Shane Paul. Nice touch to Bradbury and beyond, and just a bit too far. That's what they've done quite well today as well. Playing the 1-2s around the box and someone making that advancing run past the forward run, past the back four. Happened there, the ball just went a little bit too far. Maitland did it a few times in the first half with Ryan Clark making that ball, that run beyond the back four, but the ball just eluded. The pass was just a bit too strong. And as you know, the ball rolls.
When they have been running at speed, the little 1-2s in the first half, particularly from Broadmeadow, I was enjoying there. As we see Paul get up and Virgili playing it back to Bits. He's under some pressure. Clears it out. That one looks like it's gone out for a throw-in, and it'll be Liam Thornton to get play back underway as Swan goes down with cramps.
Looks like we're going to be the first substitution. So Justin McAuliffe, or McAuliffe, number 9 for Maitland.
Yeah, McAuliffe.
He's going to replace Andrew Swan, number 11 for Maitland. He's had a solid game today. It's been a good duel with him and Broadley in the middle of the park as well. But it looks like he's come down with cramps and he's struggling a bit here. Andrew Swan. Been hampered with a few injuries this year, both the Swan boys for Maitland. But McAuliffe's coming on, Justin McAuliffe. And it looks like Sean Pratt's coming off for Maitland. He's been busy as well. And he's going to be replaced by Louis Townsend.
Well, a big moment for these two young men coming into this group against the experience of Broadmeadow. 3-1 down. Bolchby looking for some fresh legs and got them.
Yeah, I think if I was Ruben, I'd probably just stay the same as long as the game goes. They're up 3-1. They look quite comfortable in defence. I probably wouldn't need to change too much at the moment. They did play on Tuesday night, however, so they might get some tired legs towards the back end of the game. So still about, 15 or so minutes to go. Hurl with the throw in into Majorowski. Holds the ball up well, back to Hurl. Hurl plays it in the Broadley, back to Majorowski. Good triangles here by Magic. Hurl out to Shane Paul, back to Cody Carroll. Good interplay into Cody Carroll. Advances forward. Tries to play into Hurl, but cut out by Carl Thornton. Back to Dino Fajovic. Crosses it. Miscued by Alex Reid. Back to Majorowski. Gets a good touch. He's free on the box. Has a strike. And Zach Thomas clears it away. Back to Hill, Magic piling the pressure on Maitland. Carl Bradbury. Good 1-2 with Majorowski. Back to with Carl Bradbury, back to Majorowski, and he's just hit it over the bar. That's a great 1-2. Well played. Well,
they're the 1-2s we were talking about before, and enjoyed watching the first half, and that combination between Bradbury and Majorowski there. 1-2, and then let's call it a 1-2-3, because that's what happened. And the finish from Majorowski just over the bar, Smudge. As we see Trott get this one back into play. And Thompson in a battle
with Hurl.
Here with Hurl. And Matt Thompson's having a big game. He's done a lot of work today, he finds.
And the thing is, because Magic's playing so compact and so condensed, he hasn't had much room, has he? So it's been a tough game for him, but he's been busy.
Brown. Swan. Stays up.
Tell you what, Shane Paul's been at Swans' heels the whole game. Back to Thomas. McAuliffe. Got a bit of space in McAuliffe. Plays it in the Ryan Clark. And that's a foul by John Griffith. Just nicked his heels as he was turning, and they're in a good position here, CT. They can whip a ball around. Thompson limping here. I think he's looking a bit sore and sorry for himself. He's had a few tough challenges today, Matt Thompson.
He has, and this free kick here, Smudge, he'll be looking to keep it away from Bits, and he'll put some right to left swing on it. Looking for a header would be my guess, Smudge, and away from Bits. He'll really focus on this delivery. You know exactly where it's got to go. And that's the spot. Great ball in, just lucky. And Brown comes out with it. Finds McAuliffe. Looks dangerous here, Smudge.
Yeah, he looks pretty sharp, McAuliffe, yeah.
Thornton looks to deliver. And a little bit of miscommunication with his brother, and he rolls that one out for a goal kick.
And again, the way Broadmeadow's set up, they're so compact. Look at that. There was a 20-metre triangle virtually around all the players just then. They had no space to go, compacted the space, and forced the turnover.
We see it year after year after year. Broadmeadow in these big games, they love the stage, don't they? They get so much experience throughout their group.
I was going to say they've got so much experience. There's so many players out there who've had probably 150 plus games, NPL games. Not for Broadmeadow, but like NPL games in general. There's so much experience, so many quality players there. McAuliffe's done well there to hold the ball from Trott. Unfortunately, there's a turnover with Swan. Matt Swan just ran past the ball. Back to Shane Paul. Shane Paul, he's had a great game today, Shane Paul. John Griffiths tries to chip it ahead, but just went a little bit too fast straight into Trott. Maitland trying to play a quick transition. Ball's gone straight to Pennington, who heads it forward to Carl Thornton. Back to Louis Townsend. Back to Liam Thornton out on the left-hand side. Back into Ryan Clark. It's good to see Ryan Clark. I don't mind Ryan Clark coming a little bit deeper to create that extra man in midfield, to try and find those pockets. It is very hard to find pockets at the moment because of the way Magic are playing so content, especially with this five at the back. Good ball by Alex Reid out to Grant Brown. He's closed down by Shane Paul. Second man in Carl Bradbury. Back to McAuliffe. He's been lively, McAuliffe, since he's come on.
He looks sharp, Smudge.
Yep.
He gets a strike on and a good hit. But unfortunately for him, straight to Bits.
He looks lively, hasn't he, when he's come on? And you know the thing is, he's facing forward and he's going forward as well.
He's quick and he's got quick feet, and that's what Michael Bolch would recognise, and that's why he bought him at this time of the game.
Pennington nods it forward. Broadly on the ball. There's a bit of space out here on this left-hand side. Bradbury, he's on the ball, closed down by Matt Swan. Just holding possession. Quite deep, but Maitland back forward. Majerowski on the ball. Back to Cody Carroll. They're just soaking up time here, Broadmeadow, just holding possession, playing around. I think I'd like to see Maitland come and try and force a turnover a bit. Cody Carroll, great ball out to Shane Paul. Shane Paul one-on-one with Grant Brown. Crosses it in, straight into Justin Broadley. Glided his header just past that right-hand upright. Tell you what, if that went in, that would have been 4-0. That was well played by Magic. They held possession really well. Switched to play. Great ball in by Shane Paul. And Justin Broadley just guided his header just past that right-hand post.
Well, it would have been 4-1, Smudge, but 3-1 it remains, and Broadmeadow seem to have a better grip on the game just for the minute. What's been
a turnover by Broadmeadow.
He's Thompson on the ball. He's seen there is a foul there.
Yeah, from Justin Broadley. I think
maybe a little bit of frustration from the missed goal.
Yeah, but also I think the Magic supporters aren't happy with the yellow card. But I believe that probably was a yellow card. Thompson was advancing forward, and that was a bit of a professional.
You hear the crowd going nuts down here on our left in the grandstand. Broadmeadow and Maitland supporters all going for it, giving it not only to each other on the park, but giving it to each other on the sidelines, Smudge.
And in the grandstand.
in the grandstand. Yeah, absolutely.
So Mikhailov. It's getting a bit physical in the box here, isn't the CT? There's some feeling in this game.
Yeah.
Mikhailov delivers. It's back out to Alex Reid. Good clearance by Shane Paul.
He's delivered this one long, has Reid. And Thornton.
Good strong punch by Bitts. He's been superb again.
He has. We see Brown and Fajkovic going up.
Oh, to me, sometimes their back four lack a little bit of communication, Maitland. Here's Bradbury on there, plays it forward to Dino Fajkovic. Has a touch. Crosses it, and good well cut out by Zach Thomas, but it falls back into Bradbury's
feet again.
Feet again, yeah.
And Thompson, who's just been tireless today. He'll sleep well tonight, there's no doubt about that. And he does seem to be limping a little bit at the moment. And Trott sends this one out to Mikhailov.
Here. That's better by Maitland. Showing having a bit more width. Mikhailov. Good pressure by Mikhailov on Shane Paul, and it's a foul. He's got some go in him, Mikhailov, hasn't he?
Yeah, as I said before, he's quick, and he looks like he's got quick feet by that, you know, just able to change and adjust quickly. And we see James Virgili starting to warm up. Smudge, do you think we're going to see an appearance from him?
No, I'd say no. I think this game's getting pretty tight. I probably wouldn't risk him. I'd probably keep him for next week. If they were winning 3-0, I'd probably give him a run in the last 10 minutes. Probably go at 80% just to get some moles in his legs. And there's Matt Thompson. Looks like his knees... He's been limping for the last 5-10 minutes, hasn't he? He's had a superb game. He's had a tough game against the Magic midfielders, but he's been replaced by number 2, James Tassel.
We've seen Tassel earlier in recent weeks.
Sorry, just on that, this has been a smart move by Mick Bolch. He's moved Tassel in the back line at right fullback. He's advanced Alex Reid forward. So he's moved Grant Brown into the centre of the back line, Tassel right fullback, and Alex Reid's moved forward. And you know what Alex Reid's like, scoring late winners, or late goals, sorry. Here's Liam Thornton.
He gets that opportunity to do that this afternoon, Smudge, and Bolch will be desperate for it as we see Paul come away with the ball. And Magic have got some space and got some numbers as we see Carroll advancing very, very quickly. Bradbury on his left, and he releases him. Cuts inside and uses his pace and finds Majerovski. Plays a little 1-2. And that ball by Bradbury has gone as far as Trott.
Their combination, Bradbury and Majerovski, has been superb today. Majerovski, you know how he just pulls off the top of the back four into a pocket, allows himself some space, and he's able to play those balls in. It's been superb.
It looks like Takumi Sonata is going to come on for Broadmeadow Magic. We'll see the change that Ruben Zadkovic is going to make here.
And just going back on James Virgili, I think this game's getting a bit too tight for my liking. I'd probably rest him for next week. And McCalvey comes away with the ball, advances forward, goes out to Louis Townsend. Just feel a bit of a spot of rain, CT.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Sonata is with the legend Anthony Richards, looking to make that substitution. Anthony Richards.
Everyone's having a comment about my umbrella, CT. I do apologise, but...
Well, there's another one down there that's pink. There's lightning bolts now in the background, so you can have that. I'd rather get wet.
No one's appreciating my umbrella, CT, which is... we are starting to get a little bit wet now.
Yeah, well, there's a good reason for that, because it's tiny and it looks like it's come from a Chinese back street. Virgili clears it as far as Thornton, whose delivery's found Reid on the back stick, and Reid
what a
has
great...
just pushed that one right wide, and that was such a wonderful ball in, and Alex Reid, he had his eyes on the prize and just pushed it wide. Smudge, as you found a fair income umbrella, which looks like a golf umbrella, appreciate that, but the lightning bolts out on our left, sitting around the 83, 84 minute mark here.
Yeah, just really quickly, yeah, there is lightning around, but great ball in by Carl Thornton. And Reid nearly snatched a late goal for Maitland. Just quickly, I'd like to thank Ross Pennington for allowing us to have his golf umbrella compared to my wife's umbrella. So at least we won't get wet for the last 5 minutes. And Dino Fajkovic is replaced by Sonata. He's had a great game, Dino Fajkovic. He's been very busy today.
He sure has. He's really done well, and And he's getting a lot of congratulations from the bench, and so he should.
Back to Grant Brown, to Liam Thornton, back to Brown. Rain's starting to just get a little bit heavier in these final few minutes. Sonata. I think it's very important Maitland do not concede, and Magic as well, but especially for Maitland, do not concede, take it into the second week.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably 10 or so, maybe a little bit less left in this
minutes.
one, including extra time. So, see Majerovski again. He's had a great afternoon out, he has. This ball's been played forward to Swan.
Cuts inside.
And he's really battling away in the middle of the park. And Thornton.
I thought Pittican did well there. He allowed play on to see what was going to happen, but the ball broke down, and yeah, he's brought it back for the free kick.
There's another man that'll sleep well tonight, is Swan.
I think both Swans will.
Absolutely. Sleeping Swans tonight. Ball delivered in by Brown. 2 jumpers there from Broadmeadow, and McAuliffe in attention. Bumps its way out to Swan in close attention by Pittington.
Tassel.
And Pittington on hand.
I say McAuliffe, he's been everywhere, hasn't he? He's been on for 27 minutes and he's been everywhere, has not stopped.
He hasn't, but he's only got to play that 20 minutes and that's all he'll do. He'll just run hard for 20. Tassel throws it all the way back to Brown.
Some feeling in this game from the crowd as well as the players.
Well, it's been everywhere. It's the crowd, it's the players, it's on the benches. Referees have been doing a great job here this afternoon. They've had to. So it just doesn't get out of hand. The ball gets played into Reed.
Great ball into Reed. Lays off to Ryan Clark.
Clark strikes it. Oh, and Clark almost hit the top corner. And gee, knew how close that was, Smudge. He's hit that one. It was dipping, but just not enough. And Bitts was beaten.
Wow, what a strike by Clark. Well, that's why Bolcher's pushed. It's a smart move by Bolcher, pushed Reed up front. He held the ball up, laid it off to Clark. Great strike from about 25 yards, just hitting the crossbar. He did have Matt Swan on the right-hand side, free as a bird, but worth a strike and unlucky not to pull a goal back for Maitland.
Well, it was super close and it was a great effort. And you're right, that manoeuvre by Bolch. I mean, I've always favoured Alex Reed up in the top because he just knows where the goals are. He's a good goal scorer, a good finisher. And he's
so versatile, isn't he?
That was Matthew Comerford, who's injured at the moment. Smudge, Maitland player.
Yeah, Tommy's going around again next year, which is great news for Maitland. Gets the brace off next week. Obviously won't be playing, but yeah. Great turn by Bradbury. He's been busy again. He's been superb.
Oh, and he strikes one from range.
He's had a superb year, Carl Bradbury. He's been dynamite. Talking to other coaches, obviously James Virgili, Carl Bradbury, they're their strike weapons. Now Majerovski, Dino Fajovic, they've got such strike force, Broadmeadow.
They really have, and Bradbury's had a great season, as you said, Smudge, and he's one of the reasons, and a big one, why they're in the position they're in at the moment. This ball's played forward, and Thornton and Virgili comes back out. And again, Bradbury on the ball. He's played it out to Houle, switches out to Majerovski. He's out on his own. He's getting some help by Shane Paul, who's doing an overlapping run. Majerovski still. He pulls the trigger. Falls as far as Shane Paul. He's just on the edge of the box, weighing up his options. He's desperate to get a cross in. Looking for support right now, and he's getting a lot of attention, Smudge, from the Maitland defence, and Carl Thornton comes away with that. Plays it back into McAuliffe. Slides it on the outside of his boot. Swan.
Right idea by Swan. Oh, Bits just leaving it a little bit, but right idea by Swan, but just went too far for Alex Reed. Magic need to be careful. Quick transition by Maitland there. Nearly caught Magic asleep at the back there, and Clark plays it on to Carl Thornton. Back to Tassel. Solid challenge by Carroll. Carl Thornton comes away with it. It's only about a minute of normal time to go. Turned over. Broadley comes away with it. Plays it to Carl Bradbury. Quick transition by Broadmeadow. He's one-on-one with Zach Thomas. Plays it to Broadley. Oh. Broadley just snatched that great opportunity for Broadmeadow Magic to quick transition and get Maitland on leaning numbers at the back, but yeah, the ball just went too fast for Broadley. And Ruben Zakovic making his final change of the evening in injury time, with Johnny Majerowski being replaced by David Irefield, a striker for a defender. Obviously, Ruben's trying to lock this game up, CT, and just on Johnny Majerowski, he's been superb again today. He's had a superb year. And obviously, Ruben's going to rest him in Cotton Wool for next week's home leg against Maitland. Long ball up to Swan. A cut out by Shane Paul. And out for a goal kick.
What a year. What a year for Majerowski, the way he's gone so far. He's played another great game this afternoon. We mentioned at the beginning of the game, he loves these occasions, and he stood up again today.
There wouldn't be too much injury time here, CT. There were a few little injuries, but there wouldn't be too much injury time. Ball goes forward, cleaned up by Pennington at the back. Pennington hoofs it forward, goes past Dave Irefield. Magic pick it up in the centre of the park, back to Hurl, to Cody Carroll. Carroll out to Irefield, to Shane Paul. Back to Irefield, good turn, but the ball's run over the sideline.
There's not much left in this one, Smudge. You'd only think another couple of minutes, perhaps. You can see Maitland desperate for another goal. Thornton. This ball's played out Tassel into Swan, feet of Swan. Back into Thomas, plays it long. This ball's run out for a throw in. So these seconds are ticking down for Broadmeadow Magic and for Maitland in particular.
Yeah, Magic just soaking up the minutes here. They're going to be happy going with 3-1 winners if they can for the second leg at Magic Park next week, next Sunday. Ball goes forward, out for a Magic throw in. Magic just winding the clock down. We'll be hoping to get Chris Turner have a full-time interview with either one of the coaches or one of the players. Thomas. And that's a foul. He's offside. David Irefield offside.
Desperate defence here, Smudge. From Broadmeadow, they'll be doing everything possible to keep this pressing Maitland outfit out of a last minute, literally a last minute goal.
Ball forward, cleared by Pennington. All Magic's players behind the ball. Out to Tassel. And there's full time here at Maitland. Broadmeadow Magic 3, Maitland 1. CT, thoughts on the game, mate?
Mate, well, look, to be honest, I think the result here is a fair one. Maitland came out in the second half and certainly did themselves justice. They pulled one back and they've done a great job in doing so. But in the end, it's Broadmeadow Magic 3, Maitland Magpies 1. And Smudge, you can't help but think that this opportunity has been a good one and well taken.
Yeah,
by Broadmeadow today.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with this, CT. I thought Broadmeadow were very good today, especially in their first half. They came out the stronger. They put a lot of pressure on Maitland, especially on their back four, and went to a 3-0 deserved lead at half-time. However, what Michael Bolch said at half-time did wonders for Maitland. They came out better in the second half. They were winning the second ball, putting pressure on, and in the end they got a goal back to keep the tie alive at 3-1. We're just going to try and get Ruben Zakovic here for a quick interview with Chris Turner. So we have Chris Turner here with the winning coach, Ruben Zakovic. Chris Turner.
I'll just hand that umbrella back. We can jump on. Ruben, thanks for coming to join us. Look, what a great result for you guys this afternoon. And half-time, you're 3-0 up. You've obviously been working on some things at training. Damien Smith and I both said you came out and you looked sharp. You've had Bentley Greens. You've had a week where you rested players last week. This group came out in a different fashion.
Yeah, I thought the boys were really good. The Bentley game was like a really good training session for us. That's what I told the boys, and we wanted to win that game. And to be honest, I thought we were fantastic for 45 minutes, and we probably should have went in 1 or 2 up. And I said to the boys, that type of performance, for 45 minutes there against Bentley is definitely good enough to beat Maitland. And so we were looking to try and replicate that first half, and the boys were fantastic and did it.
You know, when you play against a side like Bentley, does it sharpen you up?
I think so. Like I say, we had to rest a few boys for the Bentley game so that then they were backing up after that into this game. And it was a tricky period to manage, to be honest. And, all credits to the boys. I was really proud of my senior boys today. I thought Madja, Joshy Pids, Lukey Chill, Johnny Griffiths, those type of boys, Shane Pauls, Justin Broadleys, just the experience that they have and their attitude to not only back up after a tough game physically, but just mentally. And I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, well, you've managed that period and you've managed this outfit the way you've set up today. So congratulations on a good start. Another big job next week. They're coming to your place, Magic Park. Look, how do you approach this one?
Well, we'll have to analyse that game. First of all, where did we do well? Where did we not do so well? We'll go through the same processes that I always go through. Look at how we can be a little bit better and hope that we get everyone fit and ready. Hopefully James Virgili will be back next week, Mitchie Oxborough back next week. So, I think we've managed the group well, and the players have been fantastic and hopefully lead into that second semi and the grand final. If we've got a full squad, we've shown that, we've scored the most goals in the league and we know that on our day we're pretty deadly. So we'll go in there confident, but like you say, we've only done half a job yet and there's a long way to go. You've got some decisions to make, but you're in the box seat. Thanks for joining us and we appreciate your time. Thanks, Ruben. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Cheers. Well, Smudge, that was the thoughts of Broadmeadow's coach, Ruben Zakovic. So that sets us up with an exciting second leg over at Magic Park. Tough one for Broadmeadow if they were to lose, but they certainly are in the box seat, Smudge.
Oh, mate, they're definitely in the box. So getting 3 away goals is superb. And they played well today. I thought Ruben's game plan was spot on. They executed it very well. And I think it's going to be tough for Maitland at Magic Park next week, especially with having James Virgili as well as Mitch Oxborough back in their squad. Ruben's got some tough decisions to make next week. Who's he going to start? But on the performance today, they were superb today. A well-deserved victory. And, can't wait for next Sunday at Magic Park.
Well, we'll be seeing you back on the weekly show next Thursday night at about 6:30. You can pick that one up there. We've got lots of things to talk about this week, so we'll enjoy catching up with you there. And then following that, over at Magic Park next weekend. So from that and us this afternoon, Damien Smith and Chris Turner, thanks for joining us. I'm the umbrella guy. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I'm happy to get wet.